Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome to episode 69 of the San Marino Challenge. Now, today's episode is of course going to be a bit of a pre-season review, as well as the first game of the Serie A season against Palermo. Now, Palermo, obviously, they've been hovering between Serie B and Serie A, so it should be a pretty interesting game. They're definitely not as good as they once were. So it should be an interesting game. First game of the season for us anyway. Anyways, we have to get through a little bit of transfer activity. Nothing too serious. A few outs and a couple of ins. And then, of course, we have a few other players that we brought in from San Marinese league clubs. The first player to leave the club was Marino. He left on a free transfer to Saint Etienne. Basically, just a backup goalkeeper. We never really used him, and essentially just moving him on was probably the best thing to do at the time. His contract ran out, signed on a Bosman by Etienne, and away he goes. Now, the next player we sold was Brazin. Now, Brazin was the Russian right back that we signed a couple of seasons ago. He's a good player, but for the money that Lyon were offering, I thought that it was good enough to not decline in terms of us already having two better, more suitable right backs at the club in Antonio and Yusufi. So it was a pretty easy decision to make. 17.5 million as well is a pretty decent fee. We paid a lot of money for him, as you can see, 9.5. So we made about 8 million, which I think is a decent little bit of, shrewd transfer business. Now, the next player to leave the club, it was a bit of a sad one, to be honest. It was Sabanda, and he left for Parma, of course, in, I think, Serie A. Yeah, they are. 4.5 million, which is a pretty low fee, albeit we signed Sabanda for 475k. That was his release clause at the time from Sundowns in South Africa. Yeah, it was a hard one to let go. He's been in the club for a very long time. As you can see, he's just not good enough. Basically, that's what it is. I mean, even the scout rating since he's left has basically put him at a 48, which is pretty dreadful. That's sort of, I don't know, I feel like that's Serie B quality at that point. The next player to leave was Gil. He left for Deportivo de la Coruna. £2 million on that transfer. Similar sort of thing to Brazin. Just had to let him go. Just not really good enough. We already have a better left backup. With the guy coming from our academy. I've completely forgotten his name for some reason. Michelotti, who does have, dual nationality with San Marinese as his second/first nationality, because he was born in San Marino but has Italian nationality. Anyway, the next quite a few players were loaned out to other clubs, predominantly in Serie or in Italy. Quite a few Serie B clubs. The first of which was Mantavina. Essentially, he was a hot prospect goalkeeper, although he has never really developed further than what he is now. For the last 2 or 3 seasons, he's just not really done much. And there's nothing really much else to say about it. I thought that he was probably going to develop better and become a first-team goalkeeper, but he hasn't, to be honest. And it's a tough one. We'll keep him as a backup, but I'm not too sure about him. We might look into a few goalkeeping prospects in the next couple of seasons. The next player we let go out on loan was Laridison, who, to be fair, does look like a pretty good striker. We let him go out on loan to Cremonese, who I believe are in Serie B. Yes, they are. Hopefully he'll get a decent amount of playing time there. I think it's important to loan a player like him out, because he probably will play, and I think his development will definitely be aided with some game time. The next player we let go out on loan was Petrocevic. Of course, some of you will be pretty familiar with him if you've watched the series for some time. Yeah, I don't know about him. Similar sort of boat to Matavina. 22 years old now. I mean, we brought him in when he was, what, 17? He went out on loan to Salernitana, but again, he's one of those players that I'm probably going to look at moving on. 450k, I mean, he's not even valued that much higher than that currently, which is a little bit disappointing, but again, I'm buying these players because they have potential. It's just sort of hit and miss whether they actually reach that potential or not. Obviously, in some ways, I'm probably holding them back a little bit due to not, giving them enough playing time and stuff like that. But again, they have to develop and improve to a certain level before they'll get that first team football. The next player is Diacangelo, who went out on loan to Genoa. It is his final season at the club. I did actually try and sell him. I even offered him out for nothing, and no clubs came in, so I had to offer him for loan. And yeah, Genoa came in, and we've actually set him for release, so he will be leaving the club no matter what at the end of the season. Pretty annoying to not get a fee or recoup any of the money that we paid. 2.7 mil, especially back in that time. It was a lot of money. It was a lot of money for the club. And he was definitely a failed prospect for the last 4 seasons. The next player to go out on loan was Biordi, of course the San Marinese player. He went out on loan to Augsburg in the German second Liga, or the Bundesliga 2. I think that's a pretty good loan move. Augsburg, I think, have state-of-the-art training facilities. Oh, no, they have excellent, my bad. The excellent training facilities, I think, it's probably going to aid his development, especially if he's playing. He's got one sub-appearance for a 6.5 rating, which is really dreadful, and hopefully that's not really a sign of things to come. But yeah, it's a little bit disappointing. The next player out on loan was another San Marinese centre-back, Ugolini this time, going out on loan. This time, he went out on loan to Albino Leffe in Italy, of course. I think Serie B as well. Yeah, Serie B. I think they have, good training facilities is pretty decent for clubs in Italy, in my opinion. But yeah, him going out on loan, this is sort of what's going to happen with a lot of these San Marinese players that come from the academy. If they're not good enough, they're pretty much going to spend their entire career out on loan. However, realistically, I would like to try and keep them at the club, at least until they're like 24 or 25, when I know that their development's sort of finished, for lack of a better term. The next player let go out on loan was Dalm. He went out on loan to Cagliari. Basically, they're paying a pretty decent fee, or loan fee, for the season. As you can see, 1.4 mil to go out on loan with key player playing time at Cagliari, I think is a really good loan move for Dalm. Cagliari, of course, you would say that they're more a Serie A club than a Serie B club, so hopefully he'll get a lot of playing time in Serie B. We then let a player go back to the San Marinese League. This guy, who I signed for 750k last season, I guess. And then we loaned out 2 centre mids. Terenzi, first of all, went to Ingolstadt. Again, similar sort of deal. Ingolstadt, I think they have the state-of-the-art. No, they also have excellent. Okay. For some reason, I thought they had state-of-the-art. But excellent training facilities is very good. Also in the second Bundesliga, or Bundesliga 2. Good loan move for him. Happy to send him out. And Camille Gora also went out to Ingolstadt. Again, hopefully both of their development will be aided. I'm sure it will. Ingolstadt and Augsburg should be decent enough loan clubs for our players. We then loaned Foshi out to Navarra, who I believe are in Lega Pro. No, they're also in Serie B. Okay, that's pretty good then. 19-year-old Italian. Still got a little bit of potential. We signed him very cheap, so he was sort of just a punt, and we'll see what happens. He might develop nicely, and we could at least sell him on, hopefully, for a profit in the future. The final player we let go out on loan was Mazzari, who is a player we brought in this season. Cagliari came in with an offer. Again, exactly the same type of loan fee being paid for Mazzari as Daum. So Cagliari, they're putting their money, their money where their mouth is. Really, getting some quality youth players from ourselves. As you can see, Mazzari, he was brought into the club for 4.6 million from Fiorentina. Very, very solid centre mid. Basically, I signed him to be the replacement for Kozic, and I think he's pretty good, especially at 18. He's one of the players that has a lot of potential, but he also is probably just a little bit better than other players like Petrocevic and Sabanda. Just overall, mentals, physicals, and technicals are all just that slightly bit more well-rounded is probably the word I would use. These three players were signed from San Marinese league club teams. Basically, these three teams I haven't given money to, and they all participated in the quarterfinal of the San Marinese Championship. So decided to give them some money. Of course, recorded all of their facilities as well, so I can sort of keep a close eye on that. And the final player brought into the club was Marcio, 4.5 million from Internacional in Brazil. Again, similar sort of player to many of the centre mids that we currently have at the club. Good potential, 19-year-old Brazilian, second nationality of German, so that was sort of how we were able to get him in without going through the non-EU player for this season. When I saw him, I just thought, we'll take another punt. We have to try and develop players. We don't really have we have the finances, but we don't have the sort of institution in terms of us being able to consistently make money or make profit season in, season out. That, of course, is going to come soon enough. Upgrade the stadium a bit more and get better attendance, better sponsors into the club as well. But yeah, that's basically all the transfer activity. The preseason fixtures were very, very good in our favour. We started off with a tour of the USA, of America. 6-0 victory over New York Cosmos. 5-0 victory over the Charlotte Independents. 2-1 victory over North Carolina. A 4-0 victory against our affiliate team, Monza. We then beat Real Madrid 3-0. Manchester City 2-0. Club Bruges 3-0. And finally, Guangzhou Evergrande 2-1. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. In terms of the club and the board, we are currently improving both the training facilities and the youth facilities. Basically, I'm just going to try and get those both to essentially the best level that I can possibly get them to. Good training facilities is still that's pretty bad considering where we are and how much money we have and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to try and get that to at least excellent, if not state of the art, which I think is definitely the goal for the foreseeable future in terms of facilities. And of course, once I am able to, I'm going to request for another stadium expansion. Anyways, let's get into today's lineup. Pretty big away game against Palermo. Alright, so I think this is what we're going to go with. Ingvarsen's going to start in goals. We're then going to go Antonio right back, Ivan and Squizzato as our two centre-backs. Nesic will be the left-back today. Novi as the defensive midfielder. In front of him, we're going to go Dhalson and Viviani as the two centre-mids. Yusufi will be on the right wing. Schmidt will be on the left wing. And Champalat will be up front. Unfortunately, today, Formato and Vitek are both out. Formato with a suspension, and Vitek picked up a pretty bad injury, and he's still going to be out for another 2 months. Suffered a broken ankle during pre-season. A little bit disappointing, especially, we're quite thin now in the right wing / right back position. Something we're going to have to monitor, and we'll just sort of see how we go. Really, really need to get Vitek back, because it really does affect our depth. Anyway, the bench today is going to be Bernardi, who becomes our new backup goalkeeper for the bench. 19-year-old San Marinese. Well, he's essentially our national team goalkeeper. He's pretty good. He's pretty good for the national team. Probably pretty dreadful in terms of Serie A quality goalkeepers, but it is what it is. Cervellini will be on the bench with Michelotti, Nolascoin, Vicini, Marcio, Albani, and Vetta. Gonna look to give Vetta a lot more game time, along with Vicini in the centre of defence. Really want both of them. It's probably the end of their development sort of stage, so I want to just try and milk that little bit left if they do have any, potential ability left. Don't really know what I was talking about then, but anyway. Let's just tell the boys that we owe Palermo after our last game against them. And I've always liked versing Palermo because of the colour contrast, the pink with the light blue. It always looks really good when you're playing in this game. Absolutely nothing has happened yet. No shots at all. Alright, we finally had a shot. Yusufi with a free kick. Ivan heads it just wide. And, yeah. 2 shots for us, or 4 shots for us now. None on target. Make that 5, yeah. Alright, we finally had a shot on target. 30 minutes in. Come on, boys. We need a better performance. That looked like a pretty bad tackle. And it's a red card for Palermo's player. Down to 10 men already. Horrible free kick. Yusufi. And we score. Yusufi 1-0. San Marino. First goal scorer of the season is the makeshift right winger Yusufi. Probably one of the standout players last season. You know, he played in a number of roles. As we pick up 2 yellow cards here in very quick succession. But yeah, like I said, he was probably the standout player. Especially, I say that, but yeah, Vitek was probably, well, he was obviously a little bit better. Because Vitek was essentially the best player of our season last year. Looking for a big season from Chan Palat as well. A lot of his attributes towards the end of last season started increasing again. So he's nearly back to what he was, I feel. Like his passing's gone back up to 11. All of his sort of attacking attributes have gone back up to the levels that they were at previously before leaving to Dortmund. So that's, it's a positive, and I'm pretty happy with that. Like I said, he contributed a little bit. His goal return wasn't horrible, but it also wasn't that great. As Viviani scores 2 minutes into the second half, and that was a pretty nice shot from outside the box there. That was impressive. I mean, he's our captain, probably our best player. So, you kind of expect it, but nice little assist there from Schmidt as well. Crossing the ball from the left wing there. I'm going to make a sub. We're going to take Chan Palat off. 6.5, not really that great. But yeah, apart from that, I think we'll leave it. It's the first game. I want to get a dominant performance. I could probably bring Vicini on. Actually, do you know what? Let's bring Vetta on. Let's make another sub here. Vetta on for Ivan, and then we'll tell Vetta to tackle harder. Yusufi with a really big cross to the back post. Valsen. Is that his first goal for the club? That might be his first goal for the club. But yeah, Valsen, he is definitely improved since going out on loan. I think, the last 2 seasons? Sort of, I just wish a lot of the other players that are loan out would take a page out of his book and really, I don't know how to say it, but just relish the loan move and the opportunity to get some playing time. Good save there by Ingvarsen. Because he has improved massively. The fact that I got him from some random American academy team or college team or whatever they are is crazy. I got him on a free transfer. Just randomly signed him. I think I was just looking for the next Ingvarsen in Iceland. And he was, I don't know if he was in the under-21s or if he was actually in the national team for Iceland, but yeah, signed him, and now he's finally made it into the first team. And like I said, I'm pretty impressed with him and how he's developed, and essentially made his way into that first team. He'll probably replace Kozic, and he's a bit more of an attacking presence, whereas I feel Kozic was a bit. Kozic wasn't defensive, but he was more of a passer. Whereas I think, I don't know, I might be completely talking crap here, but yeah, Valsen just feels a little bit more attacking. He might not even have better attacking stats, I don't know. But a 3-0 victory over Palermo is exactly the type of start that I wanted this season. Yeah, really happy with that. Really happy. And there we go, Valsen, man of the match. He's now 22 years old. Yeah, he does actually look a little bit better attacking-wise than Kozic did. Just his composure off the ball, first touch, stuff like that. I mean, he is essentially an attacking midfielder that we retrained as a centre mid. But yeah, super happy with him. He's still even got a little bit more potential left to go. 3-star current ability, 4-star potential. And of course, he's either footed as well. And this is the team that we got him from. Internationals, or Carolina Dynamo. Just a random academy team. Super, super weird. Especially for him to be as good as he is. Or how he's developed as well. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap this episode up. Thank you very much for watching. If you could give the video a like, it'd be much appreciated. Subscribe as well if you haven't already. And apart from that, take it easy. Goodbye, guys.